sourdough starter? That's usually one of the most important questions. How do you do that? It's incredibly easy. You take flour, let's say 100 grams of flour, or let's say 50 grams of flour. You add 50 grams of water, and you let it stay overnight on your kitchen counter. And the next day, you add another 50 grams of water, another 50 grams of flour, let it stay overnight. You do that in the third day, then you will notice that you have already 100 or 300 grams of flour. So what you do, you remove some of it. It's called the discard. Now, you don't have to discard it. You can make stuff out of it. You can use the discard, you can make pancakes, you can make already bread out of it or something. It won't be active, so it won't, you don't expect it to bubble or anything. It's just, don't throw it away. So yeah. And you keep on doing this for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. You look, you smell your starter. If it smells funky, like rotten eggs, if it has discoloring, if it's orange or yellow or something, or a little mold on it, throw it away. Otherwise, if it doesn't smell funky, if it doesn't have the mold in it, keep on doing it. It's like the first week or two, when you make a sourdough starter, it's a battle of the bands. All the microbes, many different kind of microbes, good ones, bad ones, okay, they're all fighting it out. Luckily, most of the time, the yeast and the lactobacillus and the other bacilli, the good bacilli, the same you use for pickling vegetables, will win. And in the same way as in pickling vegetables, they preserve the flour, and so you won't have a problem in that. That's here. So this is our sourdough. Since it's a living thing, and since we will start the own sourdough baker, most sourdough baker give you the name. So it's like your pet. Okay? So ours is called Brunhilde. So you see now, we got some of our starter, and we put that in here, and we put 100 gram flour, 100 gram water, and we put a rubber band here. The rubber band shows you how much you will rise. Okay. So we leave that here, and you will see in a couple of hours. It's aircon here, so it takes a little bit longer. In your house, it will be faster. All right, so you have your sourdough. After 2 weeks, your sourdough starter becomes active. You know it is active, it is good. When you do this test, and it doubles in size. And when it does that, you can start baking with it. It doesn't always work like that most of the time. That's a good indicator. Now, you're not gonna bake every day, right? So we bake every day, so we make big pots full of sourdough. If you don't bake every day, after the 2 weeks, when your sourdough is strong, if it doubles in size once you put like 100 gram water, 100 gram flour, then you can actually put it in the fridge. And it will be good in the fridge for at least a week. Maybe even, yeah, I wouldn't go more for a week. When you take it out of the fridge after a week, you want to bake, you have to do this a day earlier. So you want to bake on Wednesday, you take it out on Tuesday, you feed it, and then let it rise on Tuesday. Wednesday morning you feed it again. So you should at least feed it twice before you bake with it up when it comes from the fridge, because it's been dormant. Now, if you don't bake once in a week, which you should if you're a serious sourdough baker, but let's say you have to go on vacation, there is two ways what you can do. One, you can freeze your sourdough. Actually, what you can do is, once your sourdough starter is active and it's good, and if you've been using it a couple of times and it gives you nice bread, take a little bit and freeze it. That's your backup. If you forget it on the counter and it goes bad or whatever, you have your backup. Right? You don't have to start from scratch again. The other option is you can dry it. You spread it out on a tray or on a silicone mat and put an electric fan on it, and in an hour or so it will be dry. You put it in a jar, this can keep forever. So you can put that in the fridge, and then once you have the frozen starter, you want to bake again, at least a day before, if not 2 days before you take it out, and you feed it again, feed it 3 times. The same with this one. Okay, so you will find out, you will get the feeling for that pretty soon. It's not difficult, and you will soon have a nice starter. Okay, so let me look at my notes. Make sure that I don't forget anything what I'm supposed to talk about. Oh yeah, the ratio. Now, this is a 1-1-1 ratio. It means 1 part starter, 1 part flour, 1 part water. That is like the most common when you let's say you can't go wrong with this. If you're baking on a regular basis, that's what you do. You keep whatever starter you have, 50 grams or so, 100 grams of starter, you add 100 grams water, 100 grams flour. Now there are other ways of doing this. You can, for example, I told you before that thyme is flavor. You can do a 1-2-2 or a 1-3-3. For example, you have 100 grams starter, you put 300 grams of flour and 300 grams of water. Of course, it will take longer to develop and grow, but that will also give you more flavor because it's longer, right? And there are other options. For example, what we also use is a dry, so-called dry starter, where you use more flour than you use water. And so this one is called, are you all familiar with the Baker percentage? So this would be 100% dry hydration, meaning this is just as much flour as it is water. So 100% hydration. You can make a dry starter with 50% hydration, meaning you have twice as much flour as water. And that one will give you also a nice rice. It will be milder. It is milder, the less acidic than the normal starter. Okay, do you have any questions to the starter? No? All clear?
The starter.
Yes.
If we want to use it again, we just
Yeah, you just add water to it.
same.
Yeah,
same
so
way.
you dissolve this in water until it becomes like a paste or something. And then you just do the same 100 flour, 100 water.
For that, we add equal amount.
Yeah, you start with equal amounts. Yes. Yeah, and then it will take long because it's dormant, right? So it will take. That's why I say the same like with the frozen one. I would calculate 3 days. But that's also a good way of backing up. So the frozen one and that one we can back up.
That's right. The frozen one, you have to unfreeze it first before you put the flour
Yes.
and the
Yes,
water.
you just take it out, leave it on the counter until it's room temperature, and then you add the other one. And then again, also at least 3 days. Because it's dormant and it needs to wake up again. Okay, what kind of flour do you use? You can make sourdough with any kind of flour. Any, doesn't matter. You can make any kind of bread. You can make cakes with sourdough. You make pancakes, you can make pizza. So you can use double O flour for the pizza. You make sourdough pizza, it's delicious. Gives you a nicer crust than a normal pizza. You can, if you want to make like whole wheat bread, whole wheat is actually easier to make a starter with than normal flour. Whole wheat has more of the yeast, which is on the outside of the grain, right? So whole wheat is if you want to make sure your starter is getting off very easy, start with some whole wheat. Another trick is put in a couple of grapes. Don't mash the grapes, the whole grapes. Grapes are covered with yeast. That's how you make wine. You get the grapes, you put them in the big pot, you stomp on it, and the yeast from the skin gets into the wine and ferments the sugars and creates the wine. Nowadays they don't do that. They also have commercial wine yeast because of consistency. It's always about consistency. Right? You can use rye. Rye flour is good for starter. Yeah, anything. It has to have starch in it, which the yeast and the bacteria change to sugar. If it's no starch, if we use almond flour, there's no starch in it, doesn't work. And it has to have starch. But anything with starch, you can. Okay.